Hello Earthlings, ultraviolet round of applause here. Today we're going to get how to punch effectively and correctly, never negating the fundamentals and really driving the power into each punch you throw without actually throwing 100% of your full body into that punch. Starting off with the boxing stance. So if you're conventional, it's going to be right foot right outside that left. If you're southpaw, it's going to be left foot right outside that right foot. Me, I'm conventional, so it's going to be my right foot right outside the left. You're going to get into the box stance, elbows nice and tight, the body, chin tucked in. You're going to be very relaxed, try to be very comfortable, and you're going to have fun with the stance. That's how you get that punch down correctly. Now, the punch that matters the most in terms of power punches, okay, that's how you can tell if the person's body mechanics are off, is that right hand. So when you're throwing that right hand, you're going to throw it right from the face. Just like that, okay? So I'm here, just like that. Now, as you see from the side, as I'm throwing, my hip is fully going into it, and my arm is in a straight line, okay? Now, if you bare knuckle and you're throwing it, say if you're in a street fight, you do not want to have your hand completely straight with those two knuckles making contact, because this big knuckle right here in the center of your hand is the easiest knuckle to break. So when you're throwing that right hand, you want to turn it over just a little bit more and make sure it's more of the three knuckles making contact instead of that one big knuckle making contact. And when you're doing it, do not flare your elbows. It's going to take a lot of power and steam out of the punch. So you do not want to throw it from right here. Also, you do not want to load up and telegraph it so they can see that coming a mile away and they can get out the way. So when you're throwing that cross, just like that. Just like that there, okay? Right back to the face. Now when you're going into the hook, it gets a little bit more complicated. Remember, shoulder, rear shoulder goes back. So when you're throwing that hook, rear shoulder is going back, okay? Arm straight. The key to be palm facing upward or palm facing down. But you want to make sure your arm's at a 90-degree angle. Your chin is tucked into the crevice of your shoulder. Hand is always close, nice and close to your face. Posture is straight and your arm is straight. Right back. So it should like this here. But you don't necessarily need to pivot. It's still okay if you just, as long as you're retracting and pulling those shoulders back and you're throwing your hips into the punch, that's most important. The only time it really matters for the pivot is if you're trying to pivot out the way, doing like a check hook, or if you're transferring the weight from a counter, then that pivot really goes into play. So again, when you're doing it, arm 90-degree angle, right back to the face, do not telegraph it, do not load up. Now it's the same with that right hook. When you're throwing the right hook, bring it right from where it is, right back. Now with the right hook, you have to kind of pivot, because if you don't, it's going to feel extremely awkward throwing that punch out there. And you don't want to feel extremely awkward, because then something is going to be out of alignment. They're going to find a kink in your armor and then lights out, game over. I do not want it to happen to you. So when you're throwing that right hook, do not drop your hand, do not load up. Throw it right from where it is. Right from where it is. And again, hips fully rotating into that punch, retracting that lead shoulder back to maximize that power and keeping your eyes on your opponent at all times. Right back to the face, and keep those elbows nice and tight to the body. That is probably going to be the hardest thing to do, especially if you're just starting boxing, because you're going to have a tendency to throw your arms out there from right here. You're going to load up. Everything's going to look telegraphed. The form is going to be crap. It takes a good like 6 to 9 months to kind of truly understand the craft. That's why you got to work on it every single day. Now when you're throwing the uppercuts are going to be more hard than the hooks and the crosses. And I'm only saying this simply because when you're throwing an uppercut, it's very easy to telegraph the uppercut. That is probably the easiest power punch to telegraph. But when you're throwing an uppercut, throw it right from where it is. So my hand is here. Palm, as soon as it face up, okay? And all of my hips is generating that power, going into it, okay? And it's the same, going forward. And if you're throwing the lead is gonna be a little more difficult because you're gonna have a tendency to wanna slip first or dip first and then try to generate a lot of power into that lead uppercut. But all you gotta do is rotate your shoulders forward and throw from there. Just like that. So I'm rotating my shoulders back, lead one going forward, and I'm driving up from the ground and hips is fully going into the punch. Just like that there. And right back to the face. Again, it's gonna take time to really get those punches down effectively, especially when you're trying to throw combinations. But you're gonna get it. You just gotta constantly work on it every single day. And of course, how could I forget the most important punch of boxing? The jab. You can throw the jab stationary. You can step. You can advance. Or you can throw the jab off a pivot to throw your opponent off. Or you got the good old body jab right back to the face. You can either do a stiff one where those three knuckles are making contact, or you can punch straight, of course keeping that guard up, and right back to the face. So you're just stepping just like that there, and right back to the face. But when you're executing the punches, remember, keep those shoulders in. Do not have your wrists inward too much. It is very easy for you to break your hand when you're punching. I will emphasize on this a lot. Believe it or not, boxing is about pinpoint precision. You do not necessarily need to throw 100% power to knock somebody's head off. If you hit them at the right moment on their chin, and their head does a 180 almost, they're gonna get knocked out. You hit them on a tempo, delayed reaction, it's gonna be like half to 3 seconds, they're gonna go down. If you hit them behind the head, it's like instant, lights out, game over, whole equilibrium is thrown off. So it's all about precision. Do not focus too much on power. Focus on technique and accuracy, because when the technique and accuracy is there, it will do everything for you without having to try to throw hard punches. You do not have to do that. Just wait for the perfect timing and then throw it, move it, and then throw the punch. You'll be surprised how much damage it's gonna do. Hopefully this helps. If you like the video, please subscribe. And if you want a video that goes a little bit deeper into everything that I just explained, check out this video right here. But other than that, stay with peace and love, everyone.